Hi, Tiger Class. It's Mr. Payne. Um, Now we've been doing a lot of work on books for the last couple of weeks, and I've been asked to basically read some stories with you guys. So this week I've got a mix of stories, a bit of looking at news, just keeping in contact. Hopefully it's nice for you to be able to see me and still have that connection. It's really nice for me to be able to hear and speak to you, and I speak to you as well. I've been really professional, got a lovely little background here, so you can see what I'm looking at. Now, first of all, some really good news. Um, Epic Books, a lot of people have been logging in. As a class, we've read 100 books on Epic Books. So some people have been reading a lot on there. In total, as a class, we've read for 62.6 hours. So that's quite a lot of time there. Now, a lot of that is our class book for this week, A Scar for Kiko. But some people have been reading lots of different things as well. So I can quickly flick onto here. You can't see this, but there's people who've been reading all about Charlie Brown, who's a bit of a cartoon character. Some people have been reading some non-fiction, so looking at different jobs they want to do when they're older. Got some people looking at different animals, so natural history and natural geography kind of things. And some people are reading sort of the classic books like Big Nate. So there's lots and lots of books there that people have been reading into, which is really good to see. If you've not been on Epic Books yet, um, first of all, you would have needed to go on for this week's work, so you might have struggled a bit there. But you can go on to Epic Books by typing in our class code, and that is NKP0528. So you can have a download the app and type that in, log on their website and type that in, and it should take you straight there. You do not need to pay for it, so it is completely free. Now, as I said, first of all, there's my face. It's me again. Um, I've been asked to do some reading with you and also look at some news. So I thought today I'd have a look at some news because it's often people get a bit downhearted at the minute. There's a lot of not very nice things going on. So I thought it'd be interesting and nice to see some more positive news as well. So I've looked on news round and I found a few stories I thought you'd be interested in. The first one is this one here. I'm sure you've heard about Captain Tom. Absolute legend. He's turned 100 today, and if you don't know the story behind him, he was used to serve in World War II, so he was a soldier at one stage, and he wanted to raise some money for the NHS. And the way that he did that was he decided to do 100 laps of his garden. Now his garden's not very big, but he is 100 years old, or he's 99 when he started, so it's a long way to walk. And he only wanted to raise £1,000. And since then, it's blown up. He's raised 30 million when I'm recording this, so he's raised a lot of money for doctors and nurses, and basically making sure that they're treated well when they're looking after us as well. And because of all this, and it's his birthday today, there's been a lot of different gifts given to him as his birthday. So here's Captain Tom. You can see he's wearing his war medals because he did serve in World War Two, and he's got quite a lot of history there himself. So to mark his birthday, they had an RAF flyby using some of the old World War Two planes. So we've got a Spitfire and a Hurricane, which are two types of planes, and they flew past his garden just as a special thank you for all of his hard work raising the money. It's got a nice quote down here from Tom as well, and it says, "People keep saying what I've done is remarkable. However, it's actually what you have done for me which is remarkable." So despite all of the money he's raised, he's still staying very humble, very calm, and he's grateful for everyone's work for him as well. So I thought it was a really nice story. There are lots of other things that happened to Tom as well recently. For example, he's been promoted in the army. He used to be Captain Tom, and he's now been turned into a corporal, so he's been given that honorary title. An old England cricketer, Michael Vaughan, has made him an honorary England cricket player. Now, he won't be getting a bat and going to play anytime soon, but it's just a way of saying thank you from the cricket team as well. And he also received a new medal because he lost one of his early on in his life. So he's got a new replacement medal. Just a big thank you from the country as well. The Queen's also sent him a card, so that's quite a strange thing to get. I've never had a quick card from the Queen, but it's a really nice way of saying thank you to someone who's done a lot of hard work. The second news story I found is this one here, and it's strange to think that some parts of the world are still carrying on as normal almost when we've got this whole thing going on. But one of the auction areas, so an auction is where people go and sell things, normally things that are quite expensive or quite rare or quite interesting, and someone is selling a chunk of a moon. So there was a rock that was brought back from the moon on a previous visit by astronauts, or it might have been brought to Earth on an asteroid. And this is a chunk of a moon that you can buy if you've got £2 million. So maybe we could all clump together. We might have enough to buy. We're not going to be able to buy it, but it's a really interesting thing because it weighs 13.5 kilograms, so it's about 4 normal bricks worth, and as I said, it's worth £2 million. So it's a ridiculous price. But imagine being able to say that you own part of a moon. When you look up in the night sky, you see this big disc that isn't made of cheese, but you think is made of cheese, and then you've actually got a part of that in your hands, which would be a fantastic thing to find. So this was found in the Sahara Desert as well, so that's where it's all come from. And the last piece of news I saw, now it's not one that Mr. Payne's going to get involved with, but the Newsround are looking for people to send in pictures of rainbow hair. Now, they've got some tips in here about how you can turn your hair rainbows. Don't do that without asking permission. I don't want any phone calls from parents and carers saying, why have they got rainbow hair all of a sudden? Why don't you told them to? I'm not telling you to. But if you do make your hair rainbow colours, it's basically a way of people are using the rainbow to say thank you to the NHS. So people have been making their hair rainbow colours as more of a permanent way of saying thank you. And there's some pictures that they want you to send in pictures if you do that. Now again, I'm not going to be dyeing my hair rainbow colours. I'm not sure Miss Thomas or Mr. Wynne, the new head teacher, would be very impressed if I came back to school with rainbow coloured hair. But it's something you could look into possibly. And there's tips down there how to do it as well. Now, as I said, I'm going to keep talking and having videos most days this week. I've created a YouTube channel which I'll be sending out in an email as well as this first video, so you can find all the videos there, and I'll also upload them to Google Drive as well. If you have any questions about anything I talk about, or any suggestions, or just want to say hi, you've got my email address. I'll write that down again for you in a minute, so you've got that really obvious and you can find that whenever. But most parents and carers have already been emailing me, so there shouldn't be a lot of issues there. Apart from that, it's lovely to hear from you. The computer's been a bit slow, so here's my email address. So it's been lovely speaking to you in the past couple of weeks. Thank you for the people who have been putting a lot of effort into the work. I've got some really nice pieces of work back, and I'm going to speak to some people about putting those on display when we get back to school as well. I know Miss Jackson's making a display in the library about people working from home. So if you do anything interesting, it might not even be linked to school. It could be linked to, you've got a neighbour who works in the NHS and you're helping to buy their shopping. Or there's someone on your street who you've been helping out because they can't get out very easily. That would be something you might want to share, and that's something that we can all say we've done a lot to help with. For example, I'm going to be doing some writing or taking some pictures all about the 3D masks that we've been printing. Now here's one that didn't go so well. So if you look at this one, there's all of this weird stringing effect. That's because when it was printing, the printer went wrong and it left a big gap up here. So that one's not worked out well. But there'll be some pictures of me doing the 3D printing and how that's been going as well. Last time I checked, we'd made 66 masks and sent them off. So that's 66 pieces of equipment that can be used to help somebody and stop them from getting this horrible disease. Anyway, that's my time. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me and hearing my silly thoughts, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye, Tigers.